Hi. Am I audible? Yeah. Just a small correction. I'm not Meenakshi. Actually, Meenakshi couldn't make it to Bangalore because of that whole Indigo fiasco. So I'm Shrabonti. I'm a writer with Mint Lounge, where Nandita has a very popular column, and I'll be in conversation with Nandita today. And the other thing is, yeah. Is this working? Also, the description of the book that was just sort of, read out was probably not very accurate because, I mean, although, of course, Nandita does talk about wellness myths and myths about nutrition and how, like, these fad diets and pills and how a lot of gurus have come up who kind of, give nutrition advice. This book is not about, like, religion or anything like that. Nandita, would you like to explain a little bit what the book is about? And yeah. And why you called it No Gods, No Gurus?
Yeah. Hi everybody. So, like she's not Meenakshi, and my book is not about spirituality or gods or any such thing. It like the description itself turned out to be a parody. So, this is all about wellness, well-being, and how to take your health in your own hands. And how wellness and health in today's times has become nothing short of religion. People are following it like a cult, and their beliefs are so strong that if anybody else says no, this is not right, it's almost like outrage worthy. So through my book, I want to say that it's not miracle fixes, it's not like some cultish devotion towards a particular diet or or any quick fixes. There's nothing like that, and for your overall well-being, you need to follow some sustainable solutions and what is backed by science, and there's no miracle fixes and no shortcuts when it comes to health. So that's what my book aims to cover, and I'm just releasing this here in front of all of you, because this was out only this week, 2nd of December, and I'm so happy to be talking about this in my favorite hometown Lit Fest, that's Bangalore Lit Fest. So thank you all for coming here and being a part of our talk.
Thank you so much for launching it at BLF, Nandita. That's a huge honor and a pleasure to launch your book here.
Thank you.
Let's just jump into the conversation, but thankfully, we already kind of jumped into it thanks to the sort of like misleading information. But tell me, why did you write No Gods, No Gurus? And also, like, you have been writing about food. That has been your forte. You've built up a huge social media following thanks to your recipe videos, but what made you write this particular book?
Yeah, so it's been almost 2 decades that I've been writing on food, and I realized that the world doesn't need another smoothie recipe or salad recipe because it's saturated. Everybody is sharing that, and at the same time, in the last, I would say, 5 to 7 years, there is an overwhelming increase in noise about health. Literally every WhatsApp group, every social media you're in, people are giving you advice, and even anybody with 1,000 followers, and he thinks there's enough audience to listen to, and they just start off on telling you what to eat, what not to eat, don't combine these foods, that is toxic, this will cause cancer. This has become the whole narrative on food and health, and there's so much fear mongering, and there is so much misinformation, and and the people who are talking about it are also not from the health background, or it's just that it's free for all, and I felt that the time is right for me to just draw people towards a more saner approach towards health, more science-backed approach, and it's just like a small nudge to get off that hamster wheel of constantly following on new trends, quick fixes, etc. So that's why I thought the time was ripe, and the fact that I post a lot of these videos on my Instagram and Twitter, other social media, and I found that there was a huge response from people. Of course, many people who did not agree with what I said, but also a lot of people who said that this has brought me so much peace of mind and kind of calmed me down, because I was so worried about what pan I was cooking in, what ingredients I was mixing, what stuff I'm giving my kid,
food in the fridge or not.
Yes, whether I'm giving my kid the reheated food, is that going to harm his health? There's so much unnecessary worry about health and wellness. that I thought, let me just break it down in very simple terms.
And Nandita, you are uniquely qualified to offer this advice, right?
Yes, so I have studied MBBS, and then I went on to do my fellowship in applied nutrition, and recently I also studied diploma in mental health from NIMHANS. So I felt like all of these aspects of health are so important and so intertwined that it's important to bring it all together and share it with the audience.
Exactly. And actually, if you haven't, you should follow Nandita on social media because she's been doing this very interesting series called the Agarbatti series, where she pretends to be a guru giving well-being and wellness advice.
Yeah.
But basically what she's doing is she breaks down a lot of pseudoscientific ideas and, breaks those myths.
Also in the space of health, I think everything is so serious, and of course the matter is serious, but it's also put across so seriously and in a way that is trying to scare people, that I thought, let me take an alternate route and have an alt avatar through which I talk about these exaggerated things which are all bogus actually. These are all myths that I'm talking in the way that I'm a guru, but you should not believe me. But unfortunately, people are downloading that and sharing that on WhatsApp as if that is the real information.
So like beyond satire, really.
So now I've started putting this is a parody on top so that people don't think that, at one end she's telling do this and at the other end she's saying this is, do this. So like people are getting confused because in today's times, like satire is as good as reality. People are not believing what's the truth.
Exactly. And your advice is all science backed and research backed, right? I mean, that is
that's my background, and that's what I try to focus on, because it's just not that anecdotal thing that it worked on me, so trust me. That's not something I believe in, and I don't think you guys should either, because what works for one person will not work on another person, and health is that personalized, nutrition is that personalized. The same formula does not work for everybody. So just because I say that I did this and it worked on me, it does not mean that it will work on you, and that's also something I've discussed in detail in the book.
Right. Like my chacha had, some churran for like 5 months and that cured his whatever gout or something. I mean, maybe that could have been other reasons or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you say that, so this world is full of wellness influencers and health influencers. What does radical well-being truly mean to you?
See, like I said, the advice and the messages being put on social media today are so extreme. Like literally the algorithm on every platform seems to favor something like X causes cancer, okay, take 1 million views. But if someone is saying something moderate, like follow your 4 basic pillars of nutrition, movement, sleep and stress, okay, it will not get 5 views also, I guarantee you, because that is sustainable, that is boring, but that's also science backed and real, and that could very well apply to everybody. So if you're not running after quick fixes, if you're looking at sustainable solutions, if you're looking at long-term solutions, in today's times that is radical, because you're literally going against what everybody else is saying. They're saying, hey, take that churran, take this detox thing, take that gut supplement, and everybody is trying to sell you something. So you taking care of your health, taking your health in your own hands, understanding what is your health looking like, unique, because everyone's health is so unique. What are your life circumstances? What is your family history? And what are your limitations? Like some health bro on X saying, I wake up at 4 and I do this and I go to the gym and I put my face in ice water and then I run 10 miles and this and that. Yes, that bro doesn't have a kid in the house, or he doesn't have his family, or doesn't have to cook, doesn't have to take care of his house. So that same thing can never work for you. So you have to, that's why even the limitations come into play. So that's why when all this combined, this is why this is very radical, because this is very personalized to you, and having the basic knowledge about health via my book, where you read on all these 8 chapters, right from the foundations. There's food, there's movement, there's sleep, there's mental health, there's hormones, the home and environment. In today's times, be it the AQI or plastic or other fumes, everything in that, and then aging and longevity. So the entire spectrum, if you have some basic knowledge, then nobody can fool you with anything, and I think that is what is radical well-being.
That is radical today,
Yeah.
because it is simplified.
It is simplified.
And it is broken down
Absolutely.
into the basics and
Yes.
the building blocks of
Yes.
health, right? So, there are like you said, there are so many nutrition fads out there, right? I mean, ice baths and whatever. So, what are some of the nutrition fads that really bother you?
Okay, so here's one thing. I think anything you ask some of these influencers, they'll say stop dairy, stop gluten, stop fat, stop fiber, like literally eliminating a whole food group because you think you felt better with that, and
No carbs.
no carbs, that also, how did we forget that? So literally everything that is of some meaning and it's adding some happiness to your life.
And food that you've grown up eating.
Yeah, also stop tea, stop coffee, all this elimination thing, which in your whole life, if we have another 40, 50 years to live, just living by elimination and eliminating the basic joy that food brings to our life is not going to be sustainable in the long run. So one is this elimination of different groups, saying eliminating this and you will have this. The second thing is, taking a single ingredient and either calling it a superfood or calling it a villain. Like you eat that food, it will cause cancer. But you eat that food, it will cure everything. It does not work like that, because how our body reacts to certain things, our entire food, what we are eating in days, months, years, how is our lifestyle, are we moving, how is our stress level, are we sleeping well, everything is calculated in your body's report card. It's not just that one ingredient that will make or break you. So that really gets my goat, that single ingredient thing.
Right, yeah. It's not like if you keep eating kale for breakfast, lunch and dinner, it will probably do wonders for
Yeah.
metabolism. But what is there are so many food myths in India, right? And you touch upon that in the book, and you talk about it on social media as well. What are some of the food myths that Indians specifically kind of cling on to, despite evidence to
Yeah.
the contrary?
Yeah, so one is I never thought I would have to create content like this, where how to drink water.
Oh my God.
Because I thought
No,
that
let's not call it water. It's hydration.
hydration. So even people have started complicating a basic thing like water, which ever since we are newborn babies, we know how to drink water. But now we are having to relearn this. Like you can only drink sitting down. You have to only drink from a copper tumbler. You have to only drink it warm or at room temperature. If you drink standing up too fast, water goes to your knees. And I don't know, in no anatomy textbook I have seen this kind of thing, but these are the kind of things that's getting so much on social media, and people are worrying now, how do I drink water? So I literally said that, drink, other than drinking lying down and water choking you, drink in any other way you want, just make sure you're drinking enough water. So again, starting from water, then not mixing foods, like you can't mix dairy and something else, because this causes bloating, or having anything white at night will cause phlegm and cause you having cough and stuff. So I think these kind of things have really no backing in today's there's no scientific backing in today's times. And let's understand that if you say that this was what was practiced hundreds of years ago, our life expectancy was 35 years. Thankfully today it's past 75. So we have reached this space thanks to modern medicine, science and research. So let's not backtrack and go back to when we were living only 35 years. So if all these science-backed things are working in improving our life and extending our lifespan, then let's not go back to the ancient times where there's no backing for all these things.
Right, yeah. Similarly, like, these days I keep, like, it's mind-boggling how many supplements you're supposed to take. I mean, firstly, one thing is like, okay, firstly you're supposed to eat so much protein, and then can we also talk a little bit about protein maybe? And,
Yeah.
because apparently you're supposed to consume your body weight in protein every day. Is that true?
At least.
At least, right?
Yeah. So I think, see, the protein argument is valid, and especially in India, if we've been a vegetarian, our diet, let's admit it, it's mostly carb based. Like, you see what people eat. It's usually roti, rice, then some dal, and some sabji. It's either aloo or some other sabji with aloo. Okay, so it ends up, it is
It's very
mostly,
carb.
it's carb heavy, no doubt. And even meat eaters in India are eating very little meat. They are not, it's eaten on the side as a small curry or something. It's not like a Western diet where it's the center of
The
your main course, like a steak, where that itself is some 200 grams. In India, they must be cooking like half a kilo of chicken into a curry, and where 4 people are sharing that, and that's not also every day, because again in Hindus, some days they will not eat meat. So in India, even the meat eaters are not eating so much meat, and even their carb consumption is higher. So it's understandable that, when, especially if you're also working out in the gym, you're trying to build muscle, you need that kind of, you need that level of protein to be able to build muscle, regenerate, your toned muscle fibers, build new muscle, and muscle is your new currency, whether it's longevity or overall good health in your later ages, where you are able to walk, you're mobile, you're able to, sit down, get up, everything is muscle, and we have been ignoring that. And if you see the number of, our Indian parents in international airports, like as senior citizens past 60 are eligible for a wheelchair, and everybody will take the wheelchair. And I'm saying this with a lot of empathy, because they can't walk that kind of distance, they can't lift their bags and go. So sitting on, even though they are very mobile, they are walking in their building and all, but that much of walking is not enough to give you the energy when you're traveling, or when you have to slightly climb some, incline. So that's that. So having enough protein and weight training, which I touch upon in a very detailed way on why weight training and how should you get into it, and that's detailed so much in the Build to Move chapter, because I think if there's one thing that adds hugely to your quality of life, it is strength training.
Yeah. You've been a big advocate of that, and as well as
Yes.
protein. Yeah. Are you a protein bro?
Not a protein sis. No, I'll prefer protein bro only, because I mean, that sounds good. But protein sis somewhat doesn't have that impact. But yeah, so protein and supplements you were talking about. So those of you who follow that Don't Die gentleman Brian Johnson, apparently he takes some 111 supplements per day, and he's trying to reverse his age and all. I definitely don't advocate that. Okay, we also have to live, and we are not that multi millionaires that we can spend all our money only buying supplements.
And how much time do you have in the day? You will just keep eating supplements then, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
supplements. And let me put this very clearly. It's our food that is the first, source of nutrition. Supplements are just an add-on in case of deficiency, and it's like a bridge. So if somebody is deficient, by food alone, it's a slow process to build your iron level, or be it your calcium, or be it vitamin B12, vitamin D. Through food and like sunlight alone, it's going to be very slow. So if your levels are already low, some degree of supplementation acts as a bridge until your food also takes over and you are in the right zone for that. But it always has to be with testing. Now, if you see, again, social media, there are people saying take magnesium, take B12, take vitamin D, take vitamin K. I take all this. They will show theirs day, in a way advocating that you should also take. But unless you have tested, a lot of fat-soluble vitamins, which is A, D, E, and K, high doses of these can easily cause an overdose in your body and have really adverse effects. Now, things like vitamin C, they just go off in the urine and you're making expensive urine, but that's okay. But when you're looking at fat-soluble vitamins, you have to be very careful, not before testing. When you're taking iron supplements, not before testing, you need to check. And especially things like hormones. These days, menopause is a big thing, and people are saying, oh, you can take bioidentical hormones, you can take that hormones. Trust me, my own gynecologist will not recommend something like this without testing and without knowing all my levels. They will not recommend. So influencers with absolutely no degree in healthcare recommending you to take hormones and all, please, please don't. That kind of supplementation is outright dangerous. But yes, after testing, you treat with your doctor telling you what supplement, what dosage, what duration, and then test again to see where you've reached. So this is my basic policy with supplementation, no unnecessary self-supplementation.
Right, right. No, I mean, especially vitamin D, it's very easy to get.
Yeah, because it's 60,000 unit dose. If you're taking without knowing what your base level is, it can literally lead to toxicity.
Right, right. Talking about another aspect of health that has become such a big thing these days, Nandita, is that we are constantly tracking all our wellness parameters, right? I mean, we didn't have these smartwatches and health trackers and step trackers, all of this like 10 years ago, right? But now we are obsessed with, tracking everything, quantifying everything. And you, in your book, you do mention about this, you do write about this, and like, what are we doing exactly? Like, is that a good thing to be measuring, or are we over measuring, over quantifying in some areas?
So see, there is two aspects to this, right? One thing is if you don't track, you can't fix it. So be it your count, even let's take the simple thing of counting calories in a day. So a lot of us, we assume that, hey, I eat very less, I hardly eat breakfast, I eat little bit of this, that. But actually, if you go to track that and count it, it may be well over what your daily limit is, right? And that's why over a period of time, people end up gaining weight little by little. So there is a benefit to tracking is to know what is going on in our body, because obviously, other than any overt symptoms which always come after things have gone bad, we really don't know what is going on inside. So in a way, that's the benefit of tracking. But having a smartwatch that tracks literally everything, how much oxygen you're taking in, how many steps you've done in a day, what's your current heart rate. It will also give you your ECG if you're feeling something uncomfortable, and that can be sent to your phone. There's so many metrics right now that your smartwatch can track. And let me give you a personal example, and which I think I've also shared in my book, is that I've worn the Apple Watch for the longest time, and whether it's pre-menopause or generally some level of anxiety, I used to notice that my heart rate is remaining consistently high. And in fact, when I check, it will be always high, but when I'm not checking, it's low. So I realized that the process of checking and trying to track it is actually causing me more anxiety. And in medical terms, there is this known thing called white collar hypertension. So your BP at home, if you check, it may be normal, but if you're going to the doctor's clinic, and that's why the white collar, because doctors wear the white apron, the coat, when the doctor is checking, your BP is higher. So that's just something that plays on your mind, right? So similarly, when you're tracking all your metrics all the time, it keeps you on this low level of anxiety that, hey, is my heart rate okay? And also, especially if you have an underlying health anxiety, it just worsens the thing. So I feel it's okay to know some basic metrics, or check. Of course, you need to check your blood pressure and your blood sugar and all from time to time, because these are things which have no signal. Nobody will know that their blood pressure is high unless it's super high and somebody is having a splitting headache or something like that. But knowing some base levels are absolutely important, and those are like your regular quarterly checkups of these metrics, annual blood checkups, those kind of things. But also some people like runners and all, they have some benefit from tracking all their things every day, but I don't think it's useful for every single person, because this ends up becoming your boss, and it tells you. And there's also this other funny thing which I was telling you about, that water bottles which are actually beeping every hour, that beep beep, time to drink water kind of thing. So we are literally outsourcing all our body signals to some external device, and we are losing touch with our own body. So that's another reason why I feel in the dependence on these in the long run is not a great idea.
Yeah, and also some of these metrics can be very weird, right? Like we were just talking about, and you write about this in your book, the 10,000 steps, right?
Yeah.
Which has become such dogma actually almost, right? And you've written the very interesting backstory of that, how that became this golden figure. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about that?
So how many of you know how the 10,000 steps came about? Okay, so a few of you here. So I will tell you the story. It actually, it started by this speedometer, which is this tracking
Step
steps
counter.
device, step counter in Japan. And they had named it Manfo or something. I'm not getting the name right. Obviously, I don't know Japanese. I'm not getting that. But in Japanese, every word has a figure as a the writing, right? So the written aspect of this word was like a walking person, and that says 10,000. No, sorry, this 10,000 number has this figure like a walking
Yeah,
person.
so when you write 10,000 in
Yeah.
Japanese, it kind
Yeah.
of, the figure looks like
Someone walking.
Yeah, it looks like someone walking.
So they thought this is an excellent marketing thing. So this was not science backed or research backed. So it's more marketing backed, where 10,000 walking person symbol. So let's call this like 10,000 steps is the ideal. So that just took off, and now literally everybody assumes 10,000 is perfect. But actually studies say that even 7,000 steps a day is great, and if someone is an elderly person, even 4 to 5,000 is excellent. So again, chasing that 10,000 number because someone said it, you're just like going after something mythical.
Right, I think, and that's the core message of the book as well, that, figure out, know why this advice, whether it works for you, where it stems from, what is the basis of this advice, and whether it applies to you or not. Okay, we are going to open it up to questions. Please pass the mic around.
Hi.
Hi.
Majority of the lab tests that we do today speaks about deficiency in vitamin D and LDL cholesterol. Is it again a marketing one? Because majority speaks only about deficiency in vitamin and LDL cholesterol, not other parameters.
So LDL cholesterol is not exactly a deficiency. It may show as elevated, but your vitamin D thing is right. But more and more people are turning out to be deficient in India, because I feel we are all leading very indoor lives. And secondly, it's also because given our Indian skin coloration, we need more time in the sun than someone who's of Caucasian origins to get that level of sunlight, to produce vitamin D in the body. That's the second thing. And third thing, it's also how much of our skin exposure, given that at least the women, mostly even when we are out, we are mostly covered. And the level of skin exposure that's happening is, it's not happening. So again, you are not getting that. So everybody is sitting indoors, working from home or working from an office or inside a school, very little outside play time, more screen time. So all the factors put together, I don't think it's any marketing gimmick, because you can give it to any different lab and you will realize that these results can be corroborated, and it's definitely there. So it's not a thing, because when you take your treatment and you take your supplementation and go, your levels do go up, right? And you can give it to another lab, not even the same lab. So you can't say that I gave this lab and then they treated me and now I'm better. So I don't think there's
And
any.
I think vitamin D also has an impact on mental health.
Absolutely. So you will literally feel like a new person if you've been deficient and you've taken the right dosage and your levels have improved. You will feel like a renewed person. So I don't think there is
That's a myth or
gimmick in that. Yeah. But I don't think there's any foul play there. If it is elevated, it is elevated. And like I said, you can check it. See, sometimes if you're expecting, say for example, I'll tell you your HbA1c, which tells you your blood glucose levels over the last 3 months. If you have a certain level, if you're expecting it to be normal and it has come high, you can always give it to another lab and get it cross-checked. So even, if that is totally different, then you know that this lab results, I've heard of this scam that a lot of labs also who are doing these very quick testing and sending you the reports and all that. They just check your last 2-3 times and give you the average of that and give it to you. So if you think that is the case and it's not in line with what you are expecting, you should get it cross-checked with another lab.
Like a reliable lab.
Yeah.
And just a small disclaimer here that Nandita will not be answering any like your health questions. It's more a broad
So
discussion
in
because
interest of privacy and
yeah, of
also-
course, and like that's really not a safe practice to take advice
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah, Nandita Chandramohan here.
Hello, Chandra.
So I regularly see your reels as well as Krishna Ashok. So it's great help
Thank
for
you.
me. When is your book coming in regional language? Because
Yeah.
specifically I'm asking, there are everyday Zoom calls happen, stand-up calls, which even corporates won't beat. So many people get into call and they take so many supplements. In fact, one of my relatives fell sick and she said, because I'm taking nutrition, it is so mild, otherwise it would have been more. So I really request you to
No, you're
print
right.
it in regional languages.
No, you're right. That's why I have started, I want to even make my videos in more languages, whatever I can speak, of course, because it should not be restricted to English alone. And of course, that decision lies with my publishers. As much as I would love to, they would always say that, once we see a substantial response in English is when we end up publishing. But a very valid point. Thank you for raising this, and I shall surely convey to my publishers. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Very
Hi.
thought-provoking discussion. Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
One point I wanted to ask, 4 things you told, which are
Yeah.
important. Can you throw some light on that?
Sure. So, it's food, which is the easiest way to impact your health, positively as well as negatively, right? So, each meal time can be considered as an opportunity to either improve your health or damage your health. So, think of your meal times as that kind of opportunity. 2 is movement, and without which nothing else, it's as important as food. So, again, in movement, 3 things. One is walking or just basic activity. Second is strength training, which is either some kind of resistance training with bands, with weights. So that's the second component of movement. And the third component is some kind of mobility or flexibility. So it could be yoga, Pilates, stretching, something. So in movement, there are 3 components. And the third thing is sleep, which, see, the first 2 are active. So you have to cook some nutritious food. You have to work out actively to do your steps or lift weights. But the second 2 are passive, and a lot of us take that for granted. We normalize saying that, hey, I slept only for 4 hours, and we use it as a badge of merit, and we are very proud that, I work for 18 hours a day and I can go days without sleeping. And we've kind of normalized that that's something to be proud of, which it is not. And it's the simplest way to really see a massive change in your everyday health, and that is sleep. It impacts everything from hormones to your mental health to literally everything that goes on in the body. Fat accumulation, fat metabolism, everything is impacted by sleep. And the fourth thing is, of course, stress management. Again, we normalize, our lives are full of stress, like literally Bangalore traffic, starting with that to incessant chatter from all the WhatsApp groups and everything. So that all that is affecting us in some way or the other. So how do we actively manage our stress? By breathing exercises, meditation, digital detox, like putting your phone away for some time, starting with half an hour a day. You have to start with these active steps, even in these 2 passive components, which we just go through our life. Stress hai, I'm not sleeping enough. But you have to take active steps in those 2 departments. So these are the 4 basic pillars. Rest, you cook in non-stick pan, you ate some carbs, you mixed milk and banana together, you did that. Those are all tiny things. So you're literally, this is the big picture, and these are the things that actually have a long-term impact and they work. And the rest of the tiny things are just nothing in front of all of this. So let's not sweat that kind of small stuff and focus on these main 4 things. I hope that helps. Thank you. Yes, please. The lady.
Yeah, hello ma'am.
Hi.
I just want to know that what do you have to say about this thing that sometimes as a result of a side effect of the BP medicine you take, you could get diabetic.
See, ultimately every medicine, if it has an effect, it is going to have a side effect. So also the people who may get diabetes are because they already had a family history, or their diet is too carb rich, or they are not moving enough, or their muscle mass is low. So there could be several other factors, like you said. So there is no such one thing, like they say causation and correlation. So they are not the same thing, and it's not like this someone had this medicine and therefore they got diabetes. There could be many other factors at play, and if someone is a high risk person towards diabetes, and if certain medications have that as a potential side effect, then it's worthwhile discussing with the prescribing doctor that maybe not prescribe that medicine because, hey, I already have a higher risk. So that's why I say that knowing your own body, knowing your family history, and even not just for you, when you're taking your parents or something, explaining that this is me, this is my family history, and also going to a doctor gives you that kind of time where you can explain. It's not just, hey, I saw you, this is your prescription and you're out. So that way, that is not going to be individualized to your condition, and by you I mean anybody's condition. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Could we give it to a woman? Yeah, to a lady,
Yeah.
please. Yeah.
There's one here and one here, both of them.
Thank you. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the two other things that are spoken about a lot, intermittent fasting and processed sugar.
Yeah, so both are chapters in my book. Again, intermittent fasting, individualized, it works for some people, like especially works better for men. Women tend to get some more hormonal disturbances, headaches, mood swings, etc. And again, it's not an all or none. It's not to say that I'm fasting for 16 hours, 18 hours only, then it's fasting. You can literally do it for 12 hours. You can do it overnight. You can also make sure that there's just no snacking between meals. That is also a good place to start. So let's not look at only extreme things like one meal a day. No. So even between your earlier meal and this meal, keep 5 hours without eating anything. That is also giving a rest to your insulin secretion, and that's also going to be a very good thing for you. So again, customized as per the person, as per their lifestyle, as per their physical activity, everything. That is intermittent fasting. And processed sugar, I've discussed in detail. I would really love it if there's a whole chapter on sugar, there's a whole chapter on fruits and whether fruits are as scary as sugar, and also on ultra processed foods. So there are chapters. I understand that these are very important topics, and I've written. Can we just take the last question from her, please? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Nandita, for this lovely talk, and I do watch you on Instagram and really benefit out of it.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to actually take you back to the protein question, because we hear so much about protein these days, and Indian food, like you said, is not really rich in protein, and we cannot take 1 gram of our body weight every day, that's quite quantity. So, but there are so many different, protein mixes available. How do we really kind of go about choosing the right one if we have to?
It's quite a long answer, but I'll try to keep it brief. See, any protein, it's better off if it comes from a natural source. So meat eaters can have it from their chicken, fish, meat, eggs, etc. Vegetarians, it's the combination, because every vegetarian food is not a complete protein, and as in does not have all the essential amino acids. So you have to make sure the combinations are right, and also make sure that you have to be more conscious of eating that protein. You have to make sure you're having that high protein yogurt. You make sure that you're not looking at dal only as a source of protein. So you have to include tofu, you have to include low fat paneer. So you have to consciously seek out these protein rich foods, and I would say that 80% of the times try to get it through natural sources, but other times when you can't reach that thing, then whey protein or plant protein is perfectly fine. Go with a reputed, tested brand, third party tested brand, where you know that it is safe, it does not have any additives, heavy metals, steroids, extra sugar, steroids, etc. Go with that, and definitely no harm in adding that as a supplement. That's why they are called supplement. They can never replace your meals. So go again, I like every brand now. I know this whole protein revolution, right from dosa batter to everybody is saying I am protein, protein, protein. So you have to see what fits. See, even if you eat dosas for breakfast every day, it makes sense to choose that, so
High
that
protein.
without changing your base diet. I'm not asking you to completely change into a protein diet, but include that in your existing diet, which makes it more sustainable. But you have to be little more conscious if you're a vegetarian.
I'm afraid that's all we have time for, but Nandita's book is available in the bookstore. Please get copies of the book. She will be signing them, and she may be able to answer a few more questions while you're getting while getting the book signed. Yeah, thank you so much. You've been a
Thank you
wonderful
so
audience.
much. Thank you so much.
And,
And,
Nandita, let's get our hydration on.
Cheers. Yeah, so you can follow me on Saffron Trail on both if you're on Twitter or Instagram. I try to keep posting content, which is obviously it's a book. It's got limited pages. I can't cover every topic under the sun, so I try to post it there. So thanks a lot. You were a great audience. Thank you.